I say, no, I'm not moving. And then she comes at me a third time, and I get in her face, and I say, bitch, I'm not moving.
I have to pretend to like him just for the podcast.
Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Yacht Club. I really don't know if I'm loud or not. We'll give it a go. Today we are here with Sabrina, Bodybuilder. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Why don't you go ahead and introduce you to her?
Okay, yeah. So I met her on Instagram, and we've hung out a couple times, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just mostly like really impressed by like your like the way you carry yourself and your discipline and the way you portray yourself. Like you don't really see that nowadays, especially with your age because you're so young and I'm young too. So we want to know, and like I know your fitness journey. You said it doesn't take like it's not like right now everyone's fitness journey is very like, oh, they want instant results or they want to like
Did you train today?
buy this program.
You trained today?
Yep.
What was it, leg day?
It was, actually.
Leg day! She was sporting the legs today. I knew it. It was leg day.
So, can you tell us about, like, I've seen you post about how it's a long process. It's not like short-term results. It's not about that because a lot of people kind of, you know, they want instant results. But can you talk about, like, your journey of 5 years?
Well, okay, so I think I have to go back to like my childhood because that's where it really started. So all through grade school, I was bullied just by like people in my school for being, basically.
Glasses, you're all nerdy.
Also, no, I didn't have glasses then, but like I was fat, so
Oh, wow.
like that's why I was bullied. I had big feet, I was fat, and then I was just always like the annoying kid
Okay,
or whatever.
I can see it, totally. Just kidding.
I really appreciate that. Okay. I see where this is starting off. I'm gonna have to fight you later. Anyway, so yeah, I was bullied all through grade school, and that like really like hit me hard. And I remember coming to my dad one day because I ended up joining the swim team to like lose all this weight. I was like, I need to be in a sport. Like I gotta do something because I can't do it on my own. So I remember joining the swim team, and this was like freshman year in high school. And I came to my dad and I was like, Dad, like help me. Like I want to get stronger. So swimming helped me like lose all this weight. I forgot to mention that when I was overweight, I had hypothyroid, which basically just means you have an underactive thyroid.
How old are you at this time?
Oh, okay. Where I was like fat.
Like this whole experience.
Let's see, this whole experience. So I was fat from like elementary school till about freshman year of high school. And I joined the swim team my freshman year of high school to so what I was like 14 then to get thinner. And I was like, hey Dad, like help me get thinner. Like I need to, like I'm overweight, I have these thyroid problems.
Was your dad athletic?
Yeah, I mean he like worked out regularly, like he was
He's a good influence.
yes, definitely. He's my biggest influence in life. But yeah, he was a pilot in the Navy, so he worked out pretty regularly. He was like
Good self-discipline and regiment.
definitely.
Right
So he helped me out. And then, you know, I started getting more fit. And I think that's when I fell into the opposite of being fat. I actually fell into an eating disorder. So I became anorexic. And this was around the end of sophomore year. So by this time I'd lost like 60 pounds and I was starting to have this eating disorder.
So I have a question. I know I've spoken to a lot of people that go into anorexia. Can you explain to me what it is to be anorexic or go through this sort of disorder, like waking up in a day, like what puts you in that lifestyle position, I guess?
So I'll tell you right now, the people who aren't anorexic, a lot of them do not know that they're anorexic, because not only is it a physical like eating disorder, but it's also a mental disorder. Yeah, you don't know you're thin like that.
So at that time, were you aware that you were going through this, or is this something you
No.
look back on now and you're like, okay, this is what I was going through?
Definitely something I look back on now and I'm like, okay, yeah, I realized like I was too thin, but then I was thinking like pretty, like I see my collarbone, I look like the IG models, because you know I just got an Instagram then, and like skinny tea was going around and like appetite suppressant lollipops and stuff. Yeah, and like waist trainers were like even bigger than when Instagram first started. So I was heavily influenced by that. Hold on, my time limit went on. There you go. Live's back on. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't know I looked like this. And this was age 15, 16. And basically anorexia is defined as someone who consistently eats under 1,000 calories a day. Now, to give you a good idea about like what people should actually be eating, the standard caloric intake for a 2-year-old, like a toddler, is 1,200 calories. So yes, yeah. So that's a fact.
Less than baby food over there.
Yeah, basically.
So I intermittent fast quite often, like at least every other day. What is your opinion on people that do it for like health reasons or like for positive, not necessarily for like body image, but like say like your gut health or things like that? Because I've like done a lot of research on that, and that just seems to work for me. But I know that if you're not like in the right mental place, it can be harmful. So what is your opinion on that?
So intermittent fasting is definitely a term that has come along much recently. I'm not trying to like undermine you. Like it's considered a fad diet, if that makes sense. And fad diets are not necessarily a good thing in the fitness industry. But if you've done your research and you know like how to go about it to fit your macros and your nutrients in however many meals or in a certain time frame, then it's okay. But the people who intermittent fast who are like, oh, like they mistaken it for binge eating, and they basically just binge eat whatever the heck they want
The next day they don't eat it.
yeah, and then they don't eat, and then they binge eat, which is binge eating disorder, which is also a form of anorexia.
Sounds like I might have both at some time. Some weeks I'm anorexic and some weeks I'm a binge disorder. Yeah, it's true. Balling on a budget. Gotta do it.
But
Okay, so what snapped you out of it? What was like bing bing, I'm done with this. I figured it out. I was this way, and now I'm gonna like get my
strong.
shit together. or
When
whatever.
was your turning point?
oh, I would say at 17 when I was
So
being bullied for being skinny. So my friends were saying, "Hey, you're looking a little thin. Like, can you please eat something?" And then people would make like shitty comments like, "Go eat a burger" or something, or like, "I can see your collarbones," but it would really bother me. It would really bother me that they like pointed it out and like,
hanging in there.
So can I jump in and ask something quick?
yeah.
Before we keep progressing with your age, I
It took too long.
I saw an interview with Anytime Fitness that you did,
Oh yeah.
and you touched on a topic about pre-cancerous thyroid condition. I think you kind of touched on it just now too.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that and when that happened and what exactly?
Yeah,
was that?
so I gotta kind of go back and rewind a little bit back to when I was fat. And I had hypothyroid, which is basically an underactive thyroid. So my hormones, in simple terms, my hormones were out of whack, and my metabolism was extremely slow for a child. Like children have like fast metabolism. Mine was extremely slow, and I overate. So that doesn't mix. Like I'm clearly gonna gain weight, and I'm clearly gonna. And people have it worse than others. Thank God I was never like hospitalized for it or on medication. But they told me like you need to lose weight now, or you will have thyroid cancer by the time you're like 22, 23.
Yeah.
So that scared me. Like as a kid, like that scares you. Like the word cancer.
Yeah.
Like what's a kid supposed to think when they hear cancer? Like so.
Okay, so I guess we can fast forward back to 17 years old.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
started getting into.
Fitness.
Pumping it up.
Yeah.
Did someone inspire you? Like, how did that come about? Did you see someone specific that got you into it, or was it just a drive in you to become like this beast?
I think the second one. So it was definitely more of a drive than like someone who was like, oh, I want to be like them. I've never ever had like a set idol in my life. Like I've always been my own idol, and I feel like that's a good thing because you will never ever look like someone else. And I think I talked about this on a post the other day on my Instagram, but like you will never ever be like someone else. You're your own unique person, so why not strive to be the best version of you versus try to look exactly like someone else. So yeah. Motivational speech.
So like when you were young and you started working out, I could only imagine that because you didn't have I know from personal experience, I don't carry a lot of body fat. So when I work out, I tend to cut up really quickly, and I do see results rather quickly. If I work out for like 6 weeks straight, like in 6 weeks time, I'm like jacked. So I could only imagine be the same way for you. When you started working out, you started to see like results almost like and within a week's or 2 weeks time, you could start to see like my body's changing. Yeah, this is working, and you kind of like rode that momentum. Yes, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So results are always the driving factor for a lot of people, like in terms of like motivation. Like that's what keeps them motivated is the results. But then there's a huge thing going around with instant gratification, like you said, and a lot of people want super quick results, super fast. You know.
That's why I have an issue with instant gratification too myself when it comes to certain areas in life. But when it comes to like fitness, like I have a couple of friends that are like, I'm just gonna get surgery, you know, I'm just gonna get lipo done. Or then some people are just like, oh, I can edit my pictures, you know. It's like, but you're masking and you're hiding like your health in the long run. So it's like, that's why I appreciate anybody in your industry or anybody at all who just goes and works out, you know. That should be a priority, I think so. So that's like one thing I have a lot of respect for. Like when she showed me your profile, I was like, wow, you know, like that's impressive, you know, your story, because I went all the way back because I wanted to see your progress, and it was like 2014 I think was your first post, and so much progress has like happened in a 4-year period, almost 5 years, that it's like, wow, like this person really flipped the switch and you just made a massive just like spike. I was on your Instagram yesterday. I want to ask you about this. I saw your story and you touched on the topic of catcalling.
Yeah, honestly, so I'm just going to throw this in here real quick. Ever since I got a lead acting role in this local film, it's going to be a movie coming out called Petty Folks. And yeah, it's a local film. We're going to see if it can go big to the B list because my director made some other movies get to the B list. So we're hoping this will get big, but yeah, ever since I got this role and I started acting, which was literally a few months ago, it's been getting worse, like the catcalling. Yesterday, actually, I got catcalled. That's what you saw in my story. I got catcalled at my university rec in front of a ton of people, and my name in the rec is known just because like I bodybuild, you know, I'm in there, people like know what I do. Yeah. And it was sad that like I didn't really take a look at who was working behind the desk, but the workers didn't do anything, and I know they heard it. And nobody else like did anything. I used to be like, hey, don't say that to me, and be nice about it, but honestly, it happens so often. It comes to a point where I have to just stand up for myself, and I have to like throw it right back at them, if that makes sense.
Well, I actually have this written down here too. Have you ever gotten in a fight?
Oh yeah, I talked about this on my Instagram.
Oh really?
Y'all are gonna hear it again too. Again, my life's still on. I got in a bar fight actually a few weeks ago.
Tell me about it.
I did not start it. So as big as tough as I look like, my personality is very much of a teddy bear. Like I may come off of this like I'm gonna kill you, like don't get on my bad side. And if you do get on my bad side, I will kill you. But aside from that, like, you know, if you show me respect and I show you respect back and like we get to know each other, I'm very, very much of a big teddy bear. Giant teddy bear. Like just I'm a very sweet person. And I never start fights ever. But I always told myself like I will end one if I have to. I know I'm capable of fighting back. I'm gonna just shout out to the Marine Corps. At one point I was gonna go into the Marines, and they taught me a lot. Yeah, they taught me a lot of like fighting techniques that I've carried on to today.
Wow.
So, to make a long story short,
Applications of pending certified weapons.
Right. I was at Kung Fu in Houston on Washington Avenue, and you cannot reserve tables or chairs there. There was a group of drunk girls, and one girl had like her boyfriend or a boy toy she met that night. I don't know. They didn't look like they were dating. It looked like they just met that night. She was drunk. I was sitting in a chair at the table, and she came up to me after of me 20 minutes sitting in that chair, resting my feet, and she was like, honey, I need you to move. I reserved this chair. And I told her, I said, you can't reserve chairs and tables here. I come here all the time. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not moving. And I was polite, right? She comes back. She's like, you need to move. I reserved this table chair. She's, starts to get angry. And of course she's drunk. So her, and I say, no, I'm not moving. And then she comes at me a third time, and I get in her face and I say, bitch, I'm not moving. And then she kind of like left, right? But then she comes back with a chair, and I'm like, my elbows are on the table like this, and my friends are dancing. I'm like going like this, like hyping them up. And she comes back with this chair and puts it right by the table. And she faces this way, and mind you, I'm facing this way, and she gets right up next to me and like shoves her elbow in me. Ooh. There's lots of space around the table. Mm-hmm. She could have sat anywhere else, and I knew it was her being petty. Like, whatever. I'm not even gonna sit there and be still. I'm gonna keep dancing with my friends, because I was moving all over the place. I was like dancing, like, yeah, like go, my friends. But then I guess that made her upset, but I wasn't paying attention to her at all. Yeah. I knew I was bumping into her, but I was like, whatever. Well, her boy toy, who's like this scrawny, like tall-ish guy, he comes up and like, I'm sitting in the chair and he comes up and he stands up and he gets in my face. He's like, nah, man, not tonight. That's my girl. That's my girl. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, why are you intervening? And I'm sitting there like, why are you yelling at me? He's like, not tonight. Like, what are you doing? Da da da. This is our table. And I'm like, wow, you too? and so then he keeps yelling at me. He's getting closer and closer. And at this point, he's like pointing his finger. So I'm like, okay, that's it. I stand up. I square up to him. I get this close to his face. Now, if I ever, the heartbeat. If I ever have to intimidate people, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. I'm gonna stand this close to their face and not do anything. My height's gonna scare them. How big I am is gonna scare them, unless they're bigger than me, of course.
Right.
But yeah, I squared up to him, and then he kind of backed in and he was like, oh shit. This other girl who's not even part of the original argument, who, I don't know, must have been friends or was just trying to back up the other drunk girl, comes out of nowhere, pushes my shoulder. I turn around. Now this guy is like out of the picture. He's stepped back. I turn around. She was like, this is our table. And I'm like, no, it's not. And then she claws in my face, gets my glasses. My glasses fall off. I have a ponytail. My ponytail comes half off, and then she comes at me, and I like get a good shot at her. Like, I push her, and she would have fallen on the ground, and I wish she did, but a bunch of guys were already behind her and caught her. Nice. Meanwhile, the bouncer is watching the entire thing from a table away, so he saw that she came at me first. Before I could obliterate her ass, the bouncer and a bunch of dudes jumped in and was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And at that point, she looked pretty scared, because I think she regretted pushing me. Because the second I turned around, she knew I was like ready to come at her. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I didn't even start it. Wow. And bouncer kicked them out. Cops came in, was like, what's going on? And then I was like, look, they try to start a fight with me over a chair. That's it. I'm just trying to have a good time. And then they're like yelling, but they're slurring the words, and the cops are like, okay, we know who to take out, and they take them all out. Nice. And they're gone. Nice.
Because you don't drink, right?
I was just about to ask.
So there is a reason why I go out and don't drink, and that is one of the reasons. Another reason is I never ever want to put myself in a situation where I'm not completely in control. And that was a situation that I needed to be in control. Right. There have been other situations where I've needed to be completely in control. Example, one guy told me he was going to rape me in the bar because he tried to back himself up on me, and I pushed him away. Wow. That is a situation where I don't want to be not sober.
Absolutely.
So I am always DD when I go out. I'm always the mom of the group.
Awesome.
I'm always watching over everyone. So that's why I go out sober. Plus, I don't run really drinking. So. Tell you that, hey, you need to weigh this way, or weigh a certain weight. You need to look like this. You need to be like this. You need to do this in life. You were meant to do this, not what you want to do. So don't let society conform you into a small box. You shouldn't have to make yourself small for anyone. So be the person you want to be. Don't be afraid to do what others aren't doing. Take the road less traveled, and just be you, basically. If you've suffered with any eating disorder, or if you know someone who suffered with an eating disorder, I had a documentary that came out. It's only 6 minutes long. There's a link in my bio, so please watch that, because like I put that out there for people to show them that like they're not alone. So like that documentary is there for y'all to watch.
Nice.
So yeah.
Thank you everyone for watching. We're releasing videos every week featuring someone here local in the Houston area. So if you want to be featured, DM us and follow our Instagram at the Yacht Club Podcast. And see you on the next episode.